Hello, welcome to a new video. This video is going to be Regency related or Jane Austen related. At some point, I'm going to share some Regency books that I've really loved, but it's also a reading vlog. So I'm going to be trying out some new Regency related books to see if they're any good, which I'm really excited about because I've been in such a Jane Austen mood and I just want to read those types of books right now. I have already started one, and it's by Georgette. I do have some books by her I'm going to recommend later, but I've not read this one before. This is These Old Shades, and I love this. It's called the Signature Collection. I don't know how many of her books are in this collection. I think I have 2 or 3 others. I just love how beautiful they are. So I was really excited to get this, but I did start this yesterday already, and I read to page 90. So if that doesn't tell you that I'm already really enjoying it, I just couldn't stop reading it yesterday. Her books remind me the most of Jane Austen, just the way they're written. This one was written, I think, in the 20s, but again, it's a Regency romance, so it honestly feels like he is from that time period and is writing then. This one I think is going to be really tricky to talk about because there's a lot of like mystery type things to it that I don't want to give away. So I'm going to try to be as vague as possible, but while still like telling you about the book. So far, this follows a duke, the Duke of Avon, and it takes place in Paris actually, which I'm not really used to when reading like Regency books. It's usually like somewhere in England. This is in Paris, but he is like English, so he just lives there now. In the first chapter, he runs into this young boy named Leon who is like running and runs into him. He thinks he's trying to rob him, but he's actually just running away from his brother, who is not very nice to him, kind of abusive, honestly. Leon is basically like clinging on to the Duke as his brother comes and is yelling at him, and then the Duke decides randomly all of a sudden that he is going to buy Leon. He talks about buying him from the brother, and then the brother finally like relents because he's so rich, you know. He buys him, and now basically he buys him to be his page, so that's what he is now. And Leon is very grateful to the Duke for basically saving him. So he basically worships him, honestly. Like, no, the Duke can do no wrong. He like kisses his hand. Just, yeah, praising him all the time. Like, if someone says something bad about the Duke, then he like erupts because he also has like a really bad temper. There is a mystery with Leon because we don't know at first why the Duke would buy Leon, and everyone is kind of like confused, and he takes him with him everywhere. And even then, people are kind of like, you're bringing your page to this. He's bringing him everywhere. It seems kind of like something's going on, like the Duke knows more than we do or anybody else does. And I will say I have gotten to the part of what is going on, so I'm not going to tell you all. So there's a little bit of like a mystery into this. I'm just so curious like what's gonna happen and like how this is gonna basically turn into a romance. I just really love her writing. I have enjoyed so far every single thing that I've read by her, so I don't think this is gonna disappoint at all. I was reading the different like I guess reviews on the back of this for this specific book, and I just wanted to read them to you all because it made me want to read it even more, and I feel like it might make you all want to read it even more too. Someone says, a world of high romance, of adventure, of passions that shimmer just beneath the surface. Someone else says, no one has ever matched Georgette for charm and wit. For a truly exceptional read that makes you giddy with glee, you need to pick up These Old Shades. Also, the very like top here on the back says, a thrilling, chilling tale of long-awaited revenge, and that is, I feel like, what the story is going to be about. We do kind of find out something about like the Duke is wanting to get revenge on someone, but that's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, the characters so far, I was thinking as I was reading this, if I was to be reading like a regular romance book, like a modern contemporary romance book, I would be like, I don't really like these characters and I don't want to read this. But for some reason, I don't know if it's just because she's writing it or like it's a Regency romance or what. I don't mind that I'm not super in love with the characters right now. Sometimes I feel like I don't have to be in love with the main male character in a Regency book. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And maybe I'll end up growing to like love him. But so far the Duke is not the best person, but he's like, they literally have a nickname for him. I think it was, I don't know how to say it. There's a lot of like French names in here that I cannot pronounce. I think it's Santanas, but is basically the word for Satan. Like that is one of his, one thing that people call him. I think that we're finding out though that really he kind of is a little bit nicer of a person than people think. I'm feeling like throughout the book we're gonna see that more, and maybe I will come to love him. But I think the main thing is like, this book is just so entertaining. It doesn't matter that like I'm not in love with the characters. The characters themselves are so entertaining, and I just want to find out what's gonna happen. If I haven't sold you on this so far, then I don't know really what else to say about it, but I'm gonna continue reading this. I'm just loving it so much, and this is literally like exactly what I needed to read right now. I definitely wanted to start with a Georgette Heyer book because I just love her so much. I'm about to do a paint by number. Michael's has, or they did have, a lot of these framed paint by numbers, which I got 2 of them months ago. I've already done one of them. I'll show you all what it looks like. It's this like swan, and it was really fun to do. And I love how it comes with like, it has a magnet, so you could put it like on your refrigerator, or you could just set it up like a picture. So this was super fun to do. But it's been a while, and I got another one at the same time. So I've decided, I feel like this is the perfect video to do it in because, I don't know, it just seems like it would fit with the whole Regency vibe. So this one is actually flowers, which I think is so pretty, and I'm just really excited to do it right now because, like I said, it's been months since I've done one. I don't know, I'm halfway thinking about sometime this week going to Michael's and seeing if there's any more, or just paint by numbers in general, because I don't know, they're pretty fun. I'm gonna do that right now. And while I'm doing it, I was wanting to listen to a book because it feels like the perfect opportunity to do that. So I was looking for some Regency type books, and I found one. I've read A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting, I think that's what it was called, by Sophie Irwin, a few years ago, and I loved it. So there's a second one, which I think you can read on its own. It's in the same series, but I don't think it's the same people. It's called A Lady's Guide to, I think it's called A Lady's Guide to Scandal. I have no clue what it's about, honestly, and I just want to go into it not knowing anything. Just me knowing that I loved her other book is enough for me to read this one. So I'm going to listen to that as I do my paint by number, and that just sounds like the coziest time right now. I'm 8% in, and I have an idea of what it's about now. It seems like it's going to be kind of like a persuasion type of book, because number one, there was a quote from Persuasion at the beginning of the book, and then we're following Eliza right now, who is a new widow. They're about to read like her husband's will to see like who gets what. One of the people that shows up for the will reading is a man who, it seems like, kind of like in Persuasion, where they used to love each other. He proposed. She apparently said no for some reason. It sounds like because of her duty to like marry someone else. It's very much reminded me of Persuasion. So she's now trying to figure out what to do with her life now that she's a widow, and she can kind of do whatever she wants to. But there is a like clause in the will that if she does anything like improper, then her money can get taken away. We'll see, I guess, how that comes into play, since it is called A Lady's Guide to Scandal. But the man that she did want to marry and loved He, I think, is the nephew to her husband. He is now like basically over the family. So they're still they're kind of connected. It's just kind of sad because, you know, she wanted to marry him and now she's like in his family, but not in the way that she wanted to be. So far, I'm really liking it. I feel like it's gonna be really good. But again, I'm only 8% in, so we'll see if I continue to enjoy it. Update on these old shades. I am now on page 267, so I'm very close to being done, and this has been the most entertaining book. I have had the best time with it. There's been so many like twists and turns and reveals and kidnappings and like so many things are going on. This is definitely not just like a sweet little romance book. It's just so entertaining. Like I said, I'm not reading it for the fact that like, oh, I'm reading this because the romance is so sweet or something like that. I'm reading it because I just have to find out what in the world is going to happen next. Like, so many things have happened and we have, you know, a little bit left. So I'm thinking, I'm just keep wondering like what else could happen? Like, what in the world is going to happen? Because so many things have. I really like the characters in this. I feel like they're all very unique. I guess you would say unique. I don't know. They're all just their own personalities and fun to read about. And I think I kind of said before, like, I wasn't like super in love with like the main male character or like a few other people. I don't know. That's been fine. We have gotten to see, like I was thinking, a little bit more of the Duke and maybe who he really is. Like, people are thinking that he's not a very good person, but maybe he is now, or maybe someone has changed him. It's such a fun time. I don't know if this is my favorite Georgette Heyer book, but I don't know. It's been quite a long time since I've read another one of hers, so I'm probably just forgetting how good the other ones were too. But I don't know. I feel like this one, like I said, has been the most entertaining and like all over the place kind of one. I'm hoping to finish it super soon. Maybe I can finish it today. It makes me sad though, thinking that I'm going to be done with this because I've had such a good time with it that I don't want it to end. And I'm already thinking about, okay, like what other book can I read by her? And I am happy that it looks like she has written a lot of books. Like, it has all of these, and then there's a whole other page, and then there's her mystery books. So I don't know, I'm very excited that I have so many more to read by her. I feel like the sad thing about Jane Austen is there are not many books by her, so like it could be, you can read through them fairly quickly, and of course rereading them is the best. But I do really love that I have so many Georgette Heyer books that I can read through and still get that like Regency feel. I finished These Old Shades last night and it was absolutely 5 stars. Fantastic. I think I had like a little over 100 pages left when I talked to you all the last time, and the rest of the book was still just amazing. I've been pretty vague about like what exactly this is about and what happens in the book because I just want you all to find out on your own, since there is so many things that, like I said, are revealed. It is definitely like an adventure type of book with just everything that's happening. I already said this the last time I talked, but I was just reminded of it again as I was reading the last like 100 pages. I love the different characters in this book, not so much like on their own, but like together. The characters that end up coming together and being friends are like, at the beginning of the book, most of them were not friends or didn't really spend any time together, if that makes sense. I don't know. This might not make much sense if you haven't read this book. Halfway through to the end of it, like they all come together because of this other specific character that I'm not going to tell you all about, because they love this character, she kind of brings them all together. It's like they're an unlikely group of friends, which I just really loved. Like I said before too, their personalities were just so funny, especially together. That was one of my favorite parts of the book too. So yeah, the best parts of this book, all of the crazy things that happen, the characters, that it takes place like in a Regency time period makes it even better. When I finished this last night, I was like pretty sad actually, and even today I had it out on my table, and every time I walked by it I was kind of sad because I'm just sad that it's over and that I finished it, because I had such a good time with it and I really looked forward to reading it every single day. I did find out too, there's like an afterword by the woman that wrote Georgette Hayer's biography. These Old Shades was actually her second book that she ever wrote, and she's written like I showed you before, so many books. But she wrote this when she was 19 years old, which also amazed me because number one, like I said, it was so good. It did not seem like this could be somebody's second book at 19 years old. And apparently there was a book, her first book that came before this is technically, I think this was supposed to be a sequel to it, but she said she wrote it in a way where you wouldn't have to read the other book. So I'm kind of curious about the first one now. I've already put another book by her on my TBR, which is I think it's called Devil's Cub. And technically that's the one that comes after this. But again, you do not have to read them in order. It did say something like some of the friends that you see in this might pop up into that third book, so that makes me kind of excited about it too. So I am glad that I read this first. And that's also, I think Devil's Cub is the last one that is in the signature collection that I don't have and haven't read, which also kind of makes me sad. I wish all of her books looked like this because they are so beautiful, but oh well, maybe eventually they'll do more and more. And I'm also really excited now to read some of her mystery books. I have a Christmas one that I've never read, so I need to make myself read that this Christmas because I feel like every single book I've read by her is just fantastic. This one had a little, I don't know if you'd say mystery in it, but kind of. So I feel like she would be a really good mystery author. But yeah, I could just go on and on and on about this book because it is so good. It just really put me in a Regency mood reading this too. But I haven't read, or I haven't listened to much more of Lady's Guide to Scandal. I have listened, actually don't know where I am in it. I think I listened to it maybe 2 more times since I've talked to you all. I am really enjoying it. I don't have a lot to say on it though yet because I've been so focused on these Old Shades that I haven't really listened to much of the other. But now I need to finish it this week within the next couple days so I can get this video up. So I am gonna focus on listening to that now. I am still gonna recommend you all some Regency romance books that I read in the past that I love. So that will be coming up soon in this video. I will let you all know when I listen to some more of that book because I just need to get back into that world because like I said, my mind is so into this one that I've kind of gotten out of the other book and don't remember where exactly I was in it. So I'm going to listen to some more of that. I'm gonna recommend some historical romance books now. I think all of these take place in the Regency period. And then after that, I'm gonna talk about a couple movies and shows that most of them you've probably already seen, but I just wanted to mention some of them. But we're gonna start with books, and I'm gonna start with my least favorite of this pile and the one that might not be for everybody. And that is the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. This is the only one I have that's not like real life because this is kind of like fantastical. I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars, so I had a lot of fun with this one. But it follows Cecilia, and she is a thief, and I'm pretty sure they're actually called pirates. I think their houses fly, so that happens. And then there's Ned, who is an assassin, and they end up meeting, I think, or getting together in some way, and he's like trying to help her maybe get back her family. I don't exactly remember for sure, I do remember I laughed a lot in this and it was a whole lot of fun. But again, it might not be for everybody. If you want a funny book that's set in like this time period, then I would definitely try it. There are other books in this series, but I haven't read them yet, but it is very funny. Okay, the next one I have is A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting, and as you know, I'm reading the second book in this series, which you do not have to read this one first because I don't even think it has any of the same characters in it. This one follows Kitty, who really needs to find a wealthy husband because I think her father just died and left them poor, basically. So she is on the hunt for a husband, a wealthy husband, because she needs to take care of her sibling. That's what this book is about. She is trying to find a husband, even though she's not looking for love. She's just looking for someone to take care of them. Lord Radcliffe shows up and meets her and realizes that she's just after money. I don't think he realizes why though. I can't remember, but he tries to like ruin her plans because of that. I really enjoyed this one. This one I did give 5 stars to. This one had like that Jane Austen feel to it. I mean, it didn't feel like completely like it was written during Jane Austen's time, but it definitely had that feel to it. It wasn't like, I mean, I feel like some books that you read now, historical romance books, are set in the Regency period, but you wouldn't even be able to tell because they're so modern and they're doing things that they would not have done in that time period. And that's what I don't like. If I'm reading a Regency book, I want it to be like accurate to the time period, and I feel like this one was. And now I'm going to talk about Georgette Hare because, as you know, I love her and I've read 5 books by her now. Of course, you already know I read These Old Shades and absolutely loved that. I've read 4 other by her. I have 3 of them and they're all like the signature classics edition. And then there's one that I read on my Kindle. I'm gonna start with Arabella. This, at least when I'd read these 3. This was the 3rd one I read. And I did say in my review I was looking at that this one was my favorite one at the time. This follows Arabella. She is in a carriage that breaks down in front of this man's house. I can't remember if he's like a lord or something. I don't think he's a duke, but it breaks down in front of his house. She goes into his house and he's helping her, but while she's there, she tells him that she's an heiress, which is a complete lie because she's actually the daughter of a clergyman. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like he knows that she's not an heiress, but he kind of goes along with it. And then the rumor gets out while she's there and it causes like tons of trouble for her. I remember this one was so funny. Like I remember literally laughing out loud multiple times during this one. So this one's probably the funniest one I've read of hers. I did really love the character of Arabella. She gets herself into many bad circumstances, but they're really funny. I also have The Grand Sophy. This is the only one of her books that I've given 4 stars to. It's definitely my least favorite. And I was reading what it was about. It doesn't say on here, but I was reading what it was about on Goodreads, and I have no recollection of this book. So I don't remember anything about it. I don't remember the people. I remember nothing about it, which is really sad, which also means maybe I need to reread it because apparently it would be new to me. Regardless of me not being able to know what this one is about or really anything about it, I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. I'm sure it probably had some humor in it too because I feel like she is so good at putting great humor in her books and just like crazy circumstances. Try this one. Maybe not your first one to try, but if you're reading some of her books and you haven't read this one, I would give it a try. Then I have Frederica, which is the first one I read by her and I think I honestly got this one first because I'm so in love with the cover. I think it's my favorite of the covers, these signature classic ones. It's literally just so beautiful. But anyways, this is about Frederica. She is the oldest sibling in the family and she has a lot of younger siblings that she takes care of. She is really responsible and just everyone loves her, honestly, that meets her. She decides that it's time to help her younger sister get married, to find a good match. She herself is not like interested in that at all. She's just concerned with taking care of her family. She needs some help though. So she ends up asking like a distant cousin, like I think she sends him a letter or something asking for his help, and he is like a really selfish person, does what he wants to and everything, and they've never met. She doesn't know what type of person he is, but she just decides, you know, I'm gonna just try to ask him for help. He ends up getting involved in this, and it is a lot of fun. So funny. I really loved Frederica, the character, because like I said, everybody loves her that meets her. I love what it says on the back. It says Frederica is strong and independent, but she never thinks about herself. So she was just such a great character. The last Georgette Heyer book that I've read is Venetia. This one is about the character Venetia, and she has basically accepted that she's going to be a spinster. I'm pretty sure she loves like romance and wants to find someone, but she lives out in the country, has never really been further than her own town. She has a couple of suitors, but doesn't like either one of them, even though I'm pretty sure, I can't remember. I feel like one of them was so annoying to me. Like he basically, if this is the same book that I'm thinking of, I think he was like, we're gonna get married, which was just so annoying to me. She has them, but she doesn't want to marry either of them. But then one day, her neighbor who has not been home, I don't think she's ever met him, but there's lots of talk about him because he doesn't have very good reputation. He's known as like a rake, and he comes home and she ends up meeting him like outside. Basically they end up becoming friends, even though people are super against it. Of course, there's a love story there. I did of course really enjoy this one. It is also not my favorite, but I did give it 5 stars, so it's still fantastic. Out of her books, I would say the best ones are Frederica, Arabella, and These Old Shades, which out of the ones I've read at least. And then I have one more book I'm going to talk about, which is The Other Bennet Sister. And this one has like a really special place in my heart because I remember reading it. It's been so many years and I still remember how I felt reading it. This follows Mary, one of the sisters in Pride and Prejudice. If you've seen or read Pride and Prejudice, then you know like Mary's the one that you don't really know a lot about. She's just kind of there. Probably one of your least favorite sisters. In this book, we get her view of things. So the first half of the book, or I don't even think it was half of it, maybe like 100 pages, takes place during Pride and Prejudice, but it's like through Mary's eyes. And then the whole rest of the book, which is I think the majority of the book, happens after Pride and Prejudice, like the end of it. I now love Mary. Like, I remember the whole book, I was just rooting for her. I wanted her to have a happy ending. So many terrible things like were happening and she was treated so badly. I just loved her story. And that book too, it literally felt like Jane Austen wrote it. From what I can remember, it was just so good. And that is one that I for sure want to reread, possibly soon, because it's been years and it's just such a lovely book. I would be surprised if you read it and you didn't love Mary by the end of it. Those are all the books that I'm going to talk about. Now I have a few movies and shows that I want to talk about. Of course, like anything Jane Austen, I'm sure that you've either watched already or read. I will say I really love the Emma miniseries. I love the movie too, like that is fantastic, the newest Emma, but I will say the miniseries like feels like you're reading the book. It really follows it. Same thing with Pride and Prejudice. I think it's 2005 one, but the miniseries one is also fantastic and it feels like the book. So those two miniseries I really, really loved. And then of course, Sense and Sensibility. I've only read Sense and Sensibility once, but still loved it, but it was not my favorite Jane Austen book. I feel like I almost enjoy watching the movie more than I did reading the book. I need to reread it and see if I still feel the same. I do really love that movie. And I really, really love the Northanger Abbey movie. I feel like it perfectly like captures the book. I really loved the cast in that too. I also really love the movie Becoming Jane. I will say it is very sad though. Like I'm pretty sure I remember crying at the end of it. That kind of just follows Jane Austen's life, her, I guess like love life and what ended up with that. But that is a sad movie. So be prepared if you're gonna watch it. Also, I have watched some of this. I've not watched it all. There is I guess it was the BBC put it out, but it's like a documentary, or not a documentary. It's like a reality show. It was like 2004, I think is what it said that it came out, but it's called Regency House Party. And it basically is a reality show where people go to pretend to be like in the Regency time period and try to find love. I really enjoyed it so far. I've watched, I don't know how much of it. It's pretty entertaining and it's kind of funny because like you just see the guys get all this freedom and they're like out doing these things and having fun, and the girls are kind of getting frustrated because they basically have to sit in the house and do needlepoint, and they can't really like go have a lot of fun, and they can barely be together with the men. It's kind of hard for them to find love. If you want to like try that out, like I said, it is pretty entertaining. I can't find it anywhere except for you can watch it on YouTube. Someone has put it on there like in multiple parts, and it's on like a playlist. So if you just search for Regency House Party on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. I also wanted to talk about Poldark. I don't know, I mean, this one has a completely different feel from all the other ones, but I do think it was still in the same time period, and I just want to talk about it because I love it so much. I watched it, or I started watching it many years ago. I've read a few of the books. The books are also good, but I just picked it back up and I'm in the 3rd season now, and I love it so much. It follows Ross Poldark, who at the beginning of the series comes back from, I think it's the Revolutionary War. He lives, I think, in Cornwall. I'm not for sure. He comes back and life is pretty different. Like when he left, he was in love with this girl named Elizabeth, and he comes back and now she's getting married to his cousin, and his life is a lot different. It is just fantastic. It's also so drama filled because like every single episode, you're like on the edge of your seat, afraid something bad is gonna happen, because many bad things do happen in this series. I remember the last episode I was watching the other day, like I was just pretty anxious because I'm like, please don't let anything bad happen. But I also really love it because there is like some love stories in it. The characters are really great. The last one I have to talk about is Miss Austen, which just came out this year. It is one of my favorite Jane Austen type adaptations. I just watched it recently, and it is actually based on a book called Miss Austen, which I do want to read that this year. It's basically a fictional telling of what might have happened to all of Jane Austen's letters, because Cassandra, her sister, destroyed a huge chunk of them. So this is kind of like a look at this might be why she destroyed these letters. And it was lovely and beautiful. I loved it so much. So if you haven't watched that, I would, out of all these, like recommend you to watch that right now, please, because it's one of my favorites now. I'm here to wrap up this vlog now because it has honestly been a little while since I filmed my last clip. I wanted to have this video up almost 2 weeks ago, but I feel like I've lacked every bit of motivation to do that. Anyways, I'm wrapping it up now. Sadly, I did not finish A Lady's Guide to Scandal. I should have known, like, I'm just not good at audiobooks. I think I've said this before. If I start an audiobook and finish it, I'm shocked. Like, it must be an amazing audiobook or book, because it just doesn't happen. I get into them, I start listening, and then I don't know, I'm just not drawn to audiobooks. I'd rather listen to a podcast when I'm doing something. Did not finish that book, but I know that if I had had the physical copy, I would have finished it because I am enjoying it. So one day I will finish that book. And if it sounds interesting to you, or like something that you might like, I would definitely try it because it was enjoyable from what I read so far. Again, I cannot stick with an audiobook. I hope that even though I didn't finish that book, you still enjoyed this vlog and maybe got some ideas of a Regency book that you might like to read. If it wasn't clear enough in this video already, I highly recommend Georgette Heyer. If you haven't read any of her books, I would try her first because she's just the best. But thank you for being here, and thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you again soon.